Hello and welcome back to the Mind Over Mic podcast. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of the show. If this is your first time tuning into the show, then good news. You're in for a very special one. This episode is with a friend of mine from Asheville, North Carolina. He is a fellow comedian, producer, and podcaster, and he has a very, very good podcast that you should totally go check out, especially my episode. And it's called Home Planet with Ryan Cox. His name is, you guessed it, Ryan Cox. And Ryan is a father, he's a comedian, he is a husband, he is a friend, he's a musician, he's a lot of things. And this conversation covers all areas of his life. I had a really good time hanging out with Ryan. So please enjoy the episode with my good buddy, Mr. Ryan Cox. I just faded in wherever.
I think it's great. I did a few podcasts before I started mine, and it would be like some weird, so yours feels natural a lot of times. People are like, hey, we got Ryan Cox in the studio today, and they're like transforming into some other guy. Yeah. And then you're like, this is already starting so weird.
Yes, and especially a lot of my guests, it's their first pod. So I think it's
Same.
a little less jarring to be like, I hit record, doesn't matter, let's just talk, and then I'll pick where it flows later. So if that's 20 minutes from now, I don't care. Yeah. Or if we don't record at all, that's fine too. Yeah. Whatever you guys want to do. It doesn't freak them out quite as bad.
Yeah, I feel like the more I've done it, the more I've been able to drop in earlier and earlier. It's given me confidence that I think for the first ones I was weird for the first 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But then, more recently, I'm like, we can just drop in at 3 minutes. I can tell when my guest forgets that sometimes they're just terrified.
Yeah. Sometimes it's also it's kind of a compliment that they forget that they're even on a podcast. That sometimes is a good thing that they get a little lost in it. But then when it comes to editing, you're like, oh, no, they're too comfortable. They're too far from the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few, but honestly, most of my guests, I've been very fortunate that they're all, even the first timers have been very excited and they trust me. I do feel like talking on camera for 90 minutes takes quite a bit of trust in the person controlling the whole thing. Yeah. So I don't ever try to take that for granted because sometimes it's business owners and I know one slip up and it can be, they know, if I wanted to be in the gotcha business.
Yeah. And that's the clip too.
Right.
That plays an hour in where you're like, that other hamburger place.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Our burgers killed Hank Williams. Yeah.
Do you have people that occasionally people will be like, hey, that when I called my dad racist, could you take that out? Yeah. I'm like, sure. It does make it 10 times harder. Yeah. One person asked me to take it down because I've had one podcast that I had to take down because she was like, a couple of the guys that I've been dating listened to the whole thing and then used some of that information against me. And I was like, well, these shitty guys. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Fuck those guys. We had a nice conversation. Yeah. But do you get a lot of that?
I've never had someone ask to take it down. Knock on wood. We'll see if you text me after this. Take that down.
Take it down. I trusted you.
I've never had that. I've had a couple situations where professionals have disclosed a little too much about clients or customers. And so they wanted just a bleep or a 10-second cut. I've had one guest be a little critical of his in-laws and wanted that removed after, things like that. But ultimately, no, there's never been anything super bad. I've had, it's almost 50% comedians and sometimes they get a little rowdy, but you know how they don't want anything. They don't care.
And you're being recorded. We did a show in Teleco Plains a few weeks ago and we definitely had a conversation where we were not being recorded. I was like, sometimes.
Yes, we did.
You do need to talk a little shit sometimes.
Oh, of course.
But I feel like the cool thing about a podcast is it's there's some people I'll only talk shit with, but then when we record, it'll be more elevated because it's you're going on the record. Sometimes that kind of helps.
It does. And also, I don't know. I'm almost critical of the phrase shit talk because I hear that a lot and I go, yeah, but I'm telling the truth though. I feel like if you and I are on the same wavelength and we agree on something, it's not even really talking shit so much as just going, yeah, we both see this the way that it is.
Yeah. And I say it tongue in cheek. I still think if you're talking about somebody, you're giving them attention too. It's the greatest insult is just, who are you again? I don't even know who you are. It's like, I've been in the scene for 3 years. Like, if people are talking shit about you, you exist. You know, that's a big part of what we do, is just trying to exist in people's minds.
That's true. And I think one way that's really kind of, it's evolved for me for sure, but like with producing a show and even like this podcast and things, there are definitely people who say things when they think it's safe to say things about me or people I'm close with and things. And then of course that does get to me, as always. And so it has almost gotten in my head this like repurposing that information of like, it is a compliment almost that I'm holding space in those people's minds. And it's typically, it's unfortunate because it's envious or, you know, it's never for good reason.
Wait, but how do you hear about it? They say it to you?
No, someone else brings it to me.
Yeah.
Like whoever they thought they could trust with that information immediately comes to me. Yeah.
I just thought you should know. I mean, that person is suspect to me. I mean, if it's a safety issue, it's like, I just thought you should know, Nathaniel, that people are starting to...
You know what's funny is like what I encounter it the most, or where I encounter it the most, rather, is I am like somewhat ingrained in the communities or the comedy scenes of other cities, and so if something is said about me in those cities, it gets back to me. That's more what, like, hometown shit, it happens all the time. I don't care.
That's just, who cares? That's your family.
That's but that's just my mom running her mouth.
Is there anything, like, I'm curious what people, you don't have to, but is there anything?
You know, the one thing that, like,
Nathaniel, he just seems a little like, what would the thing be?
I think a lot of people very early on had some things to say about me bringing Don't Tell Here. Whether it was...
okay, well, of course.
Well, it was really all sides of... That's what's confusing.
You took that on, all the things that come with it.
Dude, it's like, fuck him for bringing it here, which is confusing. Also, fuck him that it's him bringing it here, which, you know, that's fine. I understand you want it to be you. Yeah. I get it. I get that. Then there was almost the other side of it where it's like some people wanted me to keep Don't Tell away because it's taking food out of others' mouth, which is not true.
There's
some
not
people
too many
wanted me
shows
to bring
here.
it. There's nothing.
It's not like Asheville where there's like 5 things a week, you know.
You guys are really, since Helene, like it's back full swing, right?
Yeah.
That's
so man, this
good.
is you're like, what other, is anybody else running shows in Johnson City?
The Wallace has shows occasionally.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I knew that.
But Maloney's not really doing, he didn't open that to be a stand-up theater. Yeah. He's like an improv theater person.
And you tend to do Saturday nights, right? Is that so? It's like Friday, Saturdays. You all got that.
Yeah, we got that, and you know, Sean has Blue Ridge, which is in Bristol, so that's like 35 minutes away.
Is that a comedy club? Is that?
It's a club, Blue Ridge Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, he has Roy Scovel coming in February, and then there's some stuff out in May. So it's like occasionally there are weekends where there's a lot of shit going on.
I was planning to come up for Rory, but then he came to the Orange Peel. So
how did you see him?
There. It's next week.
Oh, it is.
It's on Thursday. Did you? He was canceled. Has he come here yet?
He is not canceled. They moved a couple shows,
but yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was Sean Patton. That
He's done.
Weather canceled.
Yes, they canceled Sean Patton and Tommy Davidson, which I was kind of sad about. I grew up on him a little bit, so I was very excited to see Tommy Davidson. I think he's rescheduled for like March or something, but Rory's going to be really good, especially at the Orange Peel.
He's like my all-time top 5. Like,
it's pretty
living, you know.
Yeah.
Bucket list. I saw him about this time last year, and it was amazing.
Do you know Brian Morton?
Yeah.
Brian is like a big Rory guy, and he, like, when I first started doing stand-up, Brian was one of the first guys I really like bonded with that knew Rory, because I feel like a lot of people don't know him.
Brian has been so good to me, like, since him and I think Hunter is on the show tonight.
Yeah,
like the only 2 guys up here that were doing comedy when I started.
Yeah,
and both of them super nice. Brian especially has like hooked me up a bunch, you know, in the early
Brian's
days.
The nicest.
Yeah,
he's I just had a message in a group chat today of something nice that Brian did for another comic friend of ours. He's like always and Brian's not been around as much lately as far as like shows and stuff, but he's still continuing to like reach out and pull strings for people.
I don't like it when like there's like 5 people that are older than me, and then they start to be like, to stop. I'm like, you guys can't stop.
No, I don't want to be the elder.
There's like 3 guys that are older than me.
Now. Well, especially in Asheville. I mean, that's a pretty young scene mostly, right?
We got Art Sturdivant.
That's right.
And then like Carrie Goff and Ben Hackett. There's a few guys that are like a little older than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty. Everyone's a millennial. Everyone's like, I mean, you're in your 20s, right?
Yeah, I'm 26.
So you're like, there's not that many people.
Yeah.
I keep thinking comedy's like young people, but it's actually like everybody's in their 30s now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like young people like in their early 20s are even like I was talking to a guy last night. I did a show with a guy that was booking a lot of colleges, and he's like, the college market's just dried up because people they're just disconnected, you know.
Yeah, or they watch Kill Tony and shit, but not like right. They're not interested in comedy.
Right,
right. It's a different thing to go to a college show, you know, unless it's the Killers of Kill Tony tour or whatever.
But you think they leave? Like I went over to UNCA with my 14-year-old. We walked around and it was like, is it just like winter break? Or like they were just all like, you'd see like the blinds occasionally. Like I feel like, I mean, and this is maybe me just being old, not understanding the culture, but like, do they still congregate in rooms?
You know what's funny is like I'm 26. I feel like if you're 25 or younger, you're from a different planet than me. Yeah. Like I also was raised by old people, but I've like even people my age and stuff. I don't relate to that shit. And I think especially younger, like college kids now, like you're mentioning, like this idea that we would live on campus but never leave the dorm and just like sit inside and play Fortnite or whatever. What's the point of living on campus? I don't get it.
Do you feel like in your scene, is there a lot of people in their 20s or most people in their 30s?
Most people are in their 60s.
Really? No, that's not
most
true.
People are older for sure.
You got a lot of old people?
I mean, there's like,
Grampy. I could be young.
You'd be young. Grampy he's not in his 60s.
Grampy is old and chooses to play a much even
He's not that old. Yeah, he's less old than he puts on. Phil's great.
And he chooses to play an older person.
Yeah. So we got him. We got, like Sean's in his late 40s, I think. I would say 40s is probably like the standard over here. We got a new guy right now, Chris Tester, who's really good. And I've been calling him a kid on this show because he looks like a kid. Turns out he's several years older than me. So I guess he's in his 30s. But no, I don't think for pretty much as long as I've been doing it, I've been the youngest one over here. Yeah. Which used to be kind of annoying, honestly, because it was like I was the new kid even when I was 2.5 years old.
That's great, though. You're like, you got your shit together. You're like running the don't tells.
About that.
By the way, there's people that like hate on you for that. Like, how many of them could like do that? Could like show up on time when you don't feel like it, do the chairs, interface with the business. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of all that old man energy you have comes in handy.
It helps. It helps. And also, like,
you got spreadsheets and shit.
Oh, so many. And maintaining relationships with 70 businesses, and that, like I'm always 3 months ahead on planning and stuff. And sometimes, like this weekend, for example, like things happen, headliners cancel, booking falls through the cracks, you're scrambling. And
comedians
then it's like,
don't change their...
Dude, they're not the most trustworthy. I don't know if you know this.
My favorite, a lot of my favorite people, I'm like running some shows now and I'm like, I just don't... I've tried to book you a few times and you cancel that day. It's like, and people are mad at me because you're not there because you're amazing. But I'm just not going to book you anymore if you can't show up.
It's brutal. It's really brutal. And I think I've said this many times before on the show, but like for me, Don't Tell is usually 2 days a month, but it's actually a full time. It's 24/7 really with the booking and the business relationships and stuff. It's a lot. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think a lot of people could, but it's much easier to just point fingers and cry than it is to accept yourself and your failures. Yeah.
You haven't been on the podcast. You could start a podcast. You could run a show. Like,
literally
these are all the things that it makes your stand up better to like see the full business,
It does.
Like talk to the owner and understand that what they want in their business and run ads. And like,
it also takes some of the pressure off of the actual stand up for me, at least. Like tonight, I'm worried about 75 things, and then they call my name and I go, oh shit, I have to do stand up. Like I don't even think about it, which in a way is not good, and in a way it kind of, for me personally, I'll dwell on it and really like psych myself out. If I have all day before a show, it is no bueno. I've got to like distract myself and not go that route. So having other things to worry about really helps me. A lot.
That's what being a parent is like. Having kids, it's like it doesn't really matter how any of these shows go. Like, this is like, of all the things I could fuck up, it's like pretty low on the list.
Yeah, you got other stuff to worry about.
People are like worried about having more responsibility, but it actually can help your art because it's not like the set is everything.
Yeah, your identity is not as wrapped up in it. Hey, sorry for the interruption. I hope you are enjoying this episode with the one and only Mr. Ryan Cox. I've got a couple of really fun shows I want to tell you about coming up soon. You should come and see me do stand-up comedy on the 5th of March. I'm going to be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, doing Don't Tell Winston-Salem. On the 6th, the following night, I'm over in Greensboro, North Carolina, doing Don't Tell Greensboro as well. So I just told you both of those. On the 13th of March, I'm going to be back in Johnson City doing the Wallace Theater, opening up the show for, you guessed it, Ryan Cox, today's guest of the podcast. I'm going to be sharing the stage with him on the 13th of March in Johnson City at the Wallace Theater. Very excited for that. On the following night, the 14th of March, we've got our next Don't Tell Tri-City show. That's back in Johnson City at a new favorite venue of ours, and we've got a headliner coming all the way from Nashville for the first time in over a year. So I'm very excited to see him and what he's been cooking up. That's going to be a hot show on the 14th. Then on the 20th of March, I'm heading back down to Knoxville, Tennessee, my little home away from home. I'm doing a show called The Yellow Door Media Show. That is for Mr. Justin Chavez, and I'm very excited to do my first show with his production and go make a good impression down in Knoxville for the first time in a while. Excited to get back down there. So come and see me do some stand-up. Now back to the episode. I'm very fortunate that I've kind of built this life of like, I have, this apartment and I have like loved ones and a girlfriend, long-term girlfriend, and I have a 40-hour-a-week job too. Like I have so many things that I can't really spend a lot of time on the, so-and-so doesn't like me. I'm like, I don't really have time for that. I'm sorry. It does get to me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't human. It gets to me. But ultimately it's like, regardless of all that noise, I just have to keep moving. You have to.
And it's just, if people aren't hating on you, you're really not doing it. It just comes with it.
It does.
And that's
You're producing shows now?
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself 50 headliner gigs in the next year-ish.
Ooh.
So I'm really just trying to like create shows where I do that. So I'm not even really trying to they're supposed to do the Wallace. Now it's been rescheduled. I'm still doing the Wallace. But it's been rescheduled. And I really wanted to do that to like do a 40-minute set.
Was that the snow weekend?
It was.
The big one?
Dude, I've been trying so hard to like roll that boulder up the hill, like get 50 headlining sets. Some of them are like alley raised in places where I know I can do it. But a lot of them are me going like, hey, I want to do it in your room, and hopefully it's a good room. And that was the third one. And, it was the first one that looked like it was going to sell out. And like I was actually going to like maybe not lose money on it.
Yeah.
And then we had to reschedule. So I could still probably break even, but I have to like run the ads all again,
Right.
So it's kind of like what we're talking. Like it makes the set. It's kind of good and bad because I'm like the actual 40 minutes, that's enough to focus on.
Yeah.
But all these other pieces, like making sure everybody else comes, running the promotion, doing the ads, talking with Chris, making the call to reschedule on weather.
Yeah.
I don't want Brandy Augustus to die.
Right.
Driving back, it's like
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Like that's if I die,
now Pruitt on the other hand, Pruitt can go.
He's fine.
Get him out of here.
We got plenty of Ryan Cox's and Pruitt's, but
we actually canceled a show that same weekend. I had a Don't Tell, and I had some comics coming all the way from Nashville, and it was the same thing where it's like, you guys could probably get here. Yeah. The drive home, on the other hand, is going to be rough, and it's 5 hours, and I just don't know if I can do that to you. Is it worth it for this show? And we got another one in 2 weeks, so it's not a big... And Don't Tell's a great model, too. Like, anybody who refunds or if we cancel a show, all those tickets just turn into vouchers. So, like, tonight's show is completely sold out. I'd say 10 or 15 of those are probably vouchers from the last one that we canceled, and they had basically IOU tickets. Yeah. So I've got, like, 15 on our wait list for tonight. So there's no way we're not selling it, so it's like in the end it all worked out, but the safety for the comedians is kind of important too.
Totally. And that's a new thing too. It's like, man, I'm just like trying to prepare for 40 minutes is kind of like, but then it's like there's always other pieces, so it's like it almost is like, why am I even doing this? Like it's nice to like hop on your show and just do a short tight set, but I'm trying to have the faith that like if I can do like 10, 20, 30, that'll be kind of automated. Like your first podcast, like it's insane to try to even just get everything right. But then there's a certain number where you just, you're editing them by hand. You're doing the cuts, so
I'm gonna be so tired of you. I'm gonna warn you right now.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine that's
in 2 weeks. I'll never want to talk to you again.
I don't know if we made that on the thing, but you're cutting
every
time we talk. On average, we should be letting each other like go longer.
Yeah, please take it easy.
5-minute times.
Some of the quick back and forth, I'm like, oh my God, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, it gets exhausting, but truly, like I'm just kind of a freak as far as like control and full domination over because then if it sucks, I go, well, it's all on me. It's not AI's fault.
We're very similar in many ways.
Yeah.
That's why I don't play in a band anymore. Stand-up is great. It's like, it's all me.
It's all me. That's true. You can't blame the bass player if you're up there on your own. I wanted to ask, too, because we're talking about running longer sets. So when we did Teleco, which we did for our good friend Casey Shearer, another former guest of the show. I love Casey so much. And it was a fun show. I'm glad he's trying to bring that to Teleco. I think it's important for him, too, just like we're talking about with producing. I think it's going to do good things for him. But you ran a much longer. Did you do 40 plus on that one?
I did 4. I made it to 40.
That's a long
It was actually
time.
39 and change. I go back. I'm like you. I go like cut the footage and I look exactly, and I'm like, that was almost 40.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long. That's I once accidentally did 46 minutes, but it was a lot of crowd interaction. I was booked for 30. And it was a rowdy ass room, so it turned into 46.
Oh, hell yeah.
But not 46 of material. I mean, when you did 40 there, that was not only was it a very intimate room, it was also like there was a rowdy lady who wound up leaving. Thank God.
So you don't want that to be your crowd interaction. Yeah. Right. And it was like, probably like not packed. Like a hot room, the 40 becomes 40 plus just because the laugh tails.
Yeah.
But the tails were not as long.
No, you weren't getting any favors on that one. Well, the other thing is like in a place like Tellico Plains, which for anybody who doesn't know, I can't explain to you where it is, but it's in the middle of nowhere. But it's a nice little quaint town, and much like Bristol, a lot of those folks, it's probably their first live comedy show.
Right, yeah.
So sometimes, like in the early days of Adult Tell, I would be like, oh, these people aren't rude. They're not trying to ruin the show. They just don't know better.
There's no precedent for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's where you deserve more credit for like bringing regular shows to this area.
It's
like,
been a lot.
Like that's a big, on my podcast, I always try to say comedy in the Southeast, infrastructure, try to say things like that. Like if we can imagine it as a real thing, like because when I started, it was like you have to go to New York or LA or at least Atlanta to even get the reps in. So it's like, no, like you're one of the people that's like a linchpin for making, like Justin Mays, he's brought a lot of comedy to Knoxville. People that are actually like, and people hate on him, because
of course,
when am I going to headline the Barrel House, Justin? But he's doing like for the region, he's like,
he's the interesting thing with Justin too is like, Knoxville existed as a scene for quite a long time, and then he added Don't Tell to that mix, much like me adding Don't Tell here, and it kind of evolved the scene or leveled up the scene in a way that now
I performed pre and post Justin Mays, and it was like not even really a scene.
It's a ripple.
Honestly.
It's a ripple effect. Well, it also inspires other shows. So like it's not just the things that Justin is running or just my show that I've added here. Now because we exist, I think other people see it and go, well, we want to do, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
And
then you're training those audiences. So when they start their own thing, because they're better with you for not getting exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Like you've actually kind of trained the region to like be a little better. So it's actually a good thing you're doing shows and they're not getting on it. And now they have to go fucking figure out how much they really do want to be on a show and do it.
Yeah, and the answer is they don't.
They don't, yeah.
I know, a lot of them don't.
They just want to complain about it.
And a lot of them don't know what they're asking for. We have, actually, so by the time this episode releases, this show will have passed. So at the end of this month, we're doing the biggest Don't Tell that I've ever done, and I think maybe one of the bigger ones in the recent history. There's going to be 300 seats. God, knock on wood, willing. It's in the round. It's in a wrestling school, so we're in the ring. It's completely in the round, and it's going to be bananas. And of course, as soon as word leaked out that I'm doing that, every comic in the Southeast who I've ever met is like, don't you owe me something? So it's a huge lineup. It's already stacked.
I actually don't want to go up tonight. I changed my mind.
Notice I didn't tell you before.
I'm up my voucher for that show.
Well, I didn't even let them. So tickets have been on sale for a few days. I didn't even let the other comics on that lineup post it yet because I go, if you announce that, no one's coming on the 7th.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like, just don't. Tomorrow morning, I said on the 8th, start promoting the hell out of it. But for that show, it's one of those situations where it's like I have close friends that are comedians that I go, I just don't think the 300 seats in the round in a wrestling gym fits your style. I'm sorry.
Right.
As a booker, it's different than me as your friend or as a comedian even. Like, I have to think about the show.
Like high energy probably,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Like, I've got Hunter Roberts, Brandy, Keith, Travis, Drew Morgan, and Pruitt, and me. So that is full gas, no brakes, like right from the jump. Hunter's opening the show. So, that the goal of that is just like to fill that giant space. And there's comedians who I really respect, and it's hard to go, I'm sorry, man. It's not going to work.
Yeah, not gonna work. I think even like in some ways, comedy is its purest, like 50 to 100, the brick wall in the basement. So, just doing a show like that's a cool experience because you're kind of taking it. Yeah. It's like, Kevin Hart or like Wembley, like that kind of stuff. It's like, is that even stand up? I mean, it's amazing. But it's like, it's interesting that you're kind of going into this like 300. Like, I wonder if I've done. I think like the Orange Peel, and there's some places that I've done that are like music venues that are like that, but not in the round.
Well, even for a Don't Tell, usually the whole nature of Don't Tell is it's very intimate. Yeah. And this is honestly, Don't Tell has just become my marketing team. They help me push events and stuff, so it just made sense to partner. And then the owner of this gym is so gung-ho about it that I was like, let's do it. And he has a great following for his wrestling promotion there, and he's like, a lot of people will come just because it's here. So hopefully by the time you're hearing this, that went great and that sold out. I don't know if that's true, but he's so gung-ho.
Sound is good.
Sounds great.
That's going to be the thing.
It's all already there. Yeah. I just show up. Lighting's all there. Music's all there. There's a God mic. There's a stage. We'll have walk-ups. There's a lot of moving things. Big photographer I'm hiring on for the... it's like it's a level up, but it's a 1 or 2 time per year thing. It's like a special event. So in situations like that is where I go, I don't really know if I want to do this like all the time. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because with that comes just more stress, more logistics.
So much. The noise just, the hum just dials up a little bit.
Yeah, like what could go right, what could go wrong about it is.
And you mentioned like training and all, so having 300 wild cards at BYOB wrestling school. Right. Who knows?
Yeah, is that a thing? Like when you run your Don't Tells here, do you have to come over and tap people on the shoulder? Are you that person? Does that come up a lot?
That's actually my girlfriend. That's her favorite thing in the world is to tell someone to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Because she like checks people in. She's basically my co-producer, unpaid of course, and she she loves to shut people down. She's like clipboard lady to the max. But we're hoping that like 300. If I go up first and I go, listen, shut up. We all have to make an effort to make this a good show. So let's all be in this together. I don't know. It's all new territory.
I did a show in Charlotte last night, and the guy that like brought the host up, he was like, "Shut the fuck up! I will come over to you." It's like it was so nice when someone like I don't want to be comedy dad,
Yeah.
Any more than I just am.
But
by
just run
being
your show.
But have somebody just say those things up top. Like I told him afterwards, I was like, "It's so nice that you said that. It was a great show." He was like, "Comics always say thank you for saying that." Yeah. Nobody wants to be that guy, but yeah.
Yeah, and do you host or headline the shows you're producing? Normally?
I'm headlining, and this is a new thing. It's like it's a very like narcissist thing in a way where it's like I want 50x headlining, so I'm just trying to
the only way to do it.
Not wait to do that. But like it's nice to like Casey's show, or there's ones where I will get to be on. Yeah. But I'm like that happens not like as much as I'd like.
Sure.
So I'm hoping because you do the 40-minute set and you're like, all right, like and then you just don't do it again for like months. Yeah. And it's just like meow.
Yeah, so, you're doing 5s again, and it's like
so
even tonight, like I've got you and Mackenzie doing a little bit longer than some of the other features because it's like in my mind, not only are you guys like regular features for us and stuff, and you're over all the time, but you're driving all this way, and I know at least in your case you're working up to build a longer set, or Mackenzie just is coming from Zanies and probably did more time there. So it's like trying to accommodate all that is also in that hum of producing. But what I was curious about with you headlining is trusting a host for your show was very difficult for me early on. And a lot of times it is important. Like announcements, like you were saying. I need someone that will say, shut up. That will go up there if they're talking and ruin somebody's set. When you go up, put them down. You have to do it, and a lot of hosts don't want to do it.
I haven't done it that many times yet. I try to make the host the best comedian on the show, like someone that like Brandy is hosting at the Wallace. I'm like, I want, you know, I feel like people skimp on the hosts sometimes, and it's like when I'm up there and they've been sitting in their seats for an hour and 15 minutes, and they don't even know if they like comedy anymore. I want that first impression to be like, this is good, I'm glad, because a lot of times the host is the person that's like 6 months in, trying out some new anal sex bit.
It's a little backwards.
And you're like, oh my God, like we're never, you know, you don't start your album with just experimental noise that is bad.
It's a little backwards sometimes too, because I do think like the club model, especially a lot of times when you start a club, you're hosting, it's like that may be the most important job. And I'm new to this. I've never worked a club before, and you want me to do what now? You know, and it's it does feel a little ass backwards sometimes. I do think having the trust in someone like Brandy, who also she's one of those freaks who actually enjoys hosting. Most comedians take it personal when you.
Because I'm always worried. I'm always worried that like I just lead off. I'm like I'm looking for a strong regional host. My A-team host. For my night, you know, so it's like I try to frame it that way.
Well, also I'll host for you anytime. But Brandy,
I'm headlining,
loves
of course.
Well, you should too. Like, you know, Travis started the Travis Stevenson and Friends show at the Wallace too, and I talked with him privately a little about this too, and he very much was the same way. Where he's like, "Is this narcissistic? Is this something I should do? Am I there? Am I not? What is this?" And I think ultimately he wound up like closing out some of them, and sometimes he'd have someone else close it, but he's on the lineup just to have his face on the flyer. So it's like at the end of the day, I think you just got to do it. Like whether it's narcissistic or not, no one else is doing it for you.
We are trying. Like it still feels like it's like my big head, and it's like Ryan Cox. It still feels like all of my morals are like a good person would not do that, but it's kind of what we're trying to do.
I do like that about you, though. It's probably my favorite thing about you is that you're not like, I deserve my face on every billboard.
I wince every time. I'm like, here's my monthly, you know. Think about all the haters. Click the like on it.
We talked. So for anyone who is listening and doesn't know Ryan, I do want to say I did your podcast a while back, Home Planet. Very fun show, and we talked a little on that about how you are kind of in this environment where you don't always necessarily follow the grain, or like you kind of stand out amongst Asheville comedy. Do you feel any like resentment or outsider mentality from that, or is it kind of just like this is the pond I'm swimming in?
Yeah, that's a funny thing, because I did a podcast with my friend Larry in the car, and he was like, yeah, you sure do say that Asheville's snobby a lot on your podcast, because I'm always talking to people from other places that are like, why can't I get booked here? And I'm like, well, you can be on my show. I'm the ambassador for Asheville. As long as you're not saying like racist, hateful stuff, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You know?
And I can cut that out of my set too. If you want I can cut out the racism.
No, it's great. We're in Tennessee now.
Over here, it's fine.
I mean, there probably is some of it that I grew up in Tennessee, and then I lived in Knoxville. I mean, I kind of went to Asheville as a younger like indie rocker who like was probably more drawn to like the cool. Now I'm like getting older, and I'm like, that's also kind of pretentious, and there's a lot of off-putting things. So I think I'm like a middle-aged dad now, and I'm trying to do the thing that you do, where I have relationships outside and build up Southeast infrastructure. And I'm noticing like you guys in Knoxville trade a lot, and people like skip past us over because of that attitude. So I try to like roast that and bring it up. But I do wonder sometimes. I feel like I'm liked. Like I have enough trust in the Asheville scene to question it and to say we need to be more welcoming, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's this thing where like this certain type of bro comes in to like the Odd on a Tuesday, and he's watched a lot of Kill Tony and he's from Knoxville. Yeah. And just the way he gets up there, I can just feel like that's like our most alt mic. I love the Odd. Yeah. You can just feel that people are like, I hope he says something where we can have a reason, and it's like
crucify him a little bit, And
I like relate to him too, because I came here from Tennessee, and I'm like, you know, like, I can feel he's like nervous, and then he might say the one thing, fuck him, he's not allowed back, and it's like, what did we just do? Like, that was actually an opportunity for like. First of all, it didn't do anything wrong, really. Right. Like, you just want, like, just that. Words. And I'm not saying that's how everyone is, but there's just that dynamic I'm trying to name is, like, it's not good for the region. It's not good for Asheville. Yeah. Like, cross-pollinating and collaborating is good. So I'm trying to promote that.
Well, also like seeing your city as like this city on a hill, like there's almost some elitism there. Where it's like not only are we better than them, but like they're banned from it. Like casting them out of your is kind of crazy, and it does create. And again, this is coming from someone who does not live there, but in my mind, that would it's almost like a blindness to, like, if you're in the bubble, you don't even realize what a bubble you're living in. You do, because you get out.
Yeah, and the others that get out do too, but most people don't.
Yeah, right.
And that's and then it's like when you go out and you walk in a mic in Knoxville or Bristol, and you're like, oh shit, they could destroy me. You know, I'm the outsider. That's very humbling, and I think it's important to embrace humility and empathy and all these things that like woke cultures are supposedly all about, you know.
Only if it agrees with them, though.
Yeah, right.
That's the interesting thing about free speech. Yeah. Free speech as long as we like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's, just like somebody says one thing and it's a risky joke, and then taking that all the way to like they're a Nazi or something, I feel like that can kind of, things are just so polarized. I mean, that's like, that's how I justify the, like, my big head with my name is like, my ideal audience is like, it's like a trans person sitting next to a black nerd, sitting next to a trucker that loves their guns, and they're all laughing. Like, that would be, if I could have anything, it would be like all of America was there.
That's the whole point, right?
Really,
because everyone finds me funny. Yeah. You don't want to appeal to one or the other.
Yeah, I think there's good virtues on both sides. Yeah. And Asheville's just like, things are so divided that, like, you know, I feel like in Asheville, people are like, is Ryan like a Republican?
Yeah. Which is like basically saying you're an alien.
Yeah,
you're
like,
right.
No, and then I go out to like Tellico Plains, and they're like, "Is he like trans or something?" Like,
it's the Red Scare, basically. Yeah, it's the trans scare. I do think sometimes I've seen Pruitt encounter that in reverse over here, or Brandy, where it's like Brandy has jokes or Pruitt about their trans kids. And the feedback here is almost the reverse of that. Where it's like, and it's like, but why? Like, that's a funny joke, regardless, just because she said her kid is trans, you tune it out and you don't realize that 70 other people around you are howling, laughing. That shit just really gets under my skin. I guess I'm almost like a comedy snob in a way, where in my mind, it supersedes everything. Like politics, I don't really care. If it's funny, it's not meant to, I'm not supposed to agree with it. That's the whole point. It's supposed to make me laugh. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think it seems like, you know, it's funny. It's just like a chain of mountains we're talking about. But on each side of it, they're like weaponizing it in the opposite way. Yeah. To not laugh. And it's like, isn't that the whole point? Is to just have fun and laugh? We're telling dick jokes for a living. Yeah. Calm down.
Yeah, I'm terrified of it. Because I have kids that are going to like be in here and like 30 with whatever it is. It's like, hey, we should let that guy come to the odd and like hang out with us. Maybe we'll make him a little less whatever we didn't like about him. Yeah. And or maybe he'll get us to kind of like lighten up a little bit.
I will say I've done several shows in Asheville, not in quite a while. It's been probably over a year since the last one there. And I do feel like, just because of like how I dress and how I look and sound, that as soon as I step up there, I'm like, they don't like me. I don't check enough boxes, or whatever. The neck beard makes me look racist.
Good enough jokes where I feel like you could like use that to your advantage. You know?
I got to earn it a little more.
Like,
which is fine. I mean, I don't mind doing it.
Because there's a certain tension in that. Like, Louis saying the thing about Shane Gillis getting up in Brooklyn and being like, my dad's a Fox News dad, but all your dads are Fox. Like, there's like if you're good enough, that tension of like them profiling you can actually kind of probably like
use it.
The laugh's going to be like more explosive because of that.
I think so. We, as of this recording, we have a show tonight in Johnson City, and Mackenzie Mann is on it, and I just I love her. She's so funny and unique. And she is kind of that for my audiences, where she is so foreign to what they're used to seeing that she goes up and she's really good at just disarming all of those assumptions, and like making them love her for exactly what she is. She doesn't try to get more, she's not like bristling it up or anything. No. She's just herself. And
she's going to stare at the floor. Say evil, cute shit.
Evil, cute shit. And they love her for it. The 3 shows I've done with her, I've seen nothing but good feedback. Like, the crowd just is like, what is going on? I mean, I think, do you know Zlata as well?
Oh, yeah. Zlata's amazing.
Amazing. She came over to the Wallace a couple months ago for Travis's show, and that was like a rowdy crowd. Like nobody really did jokes that night. And she went out there and just disarmed the whole, in the best way. Like, I really admire that when comics can do that. Yeah. And go, I am what I am, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right.
And both Zlata and Mackenzie, they don't have any kind of elitism. They don't have any snobbery on them, you know? And that's an interesting thing. When I go out to like the country, sometimes I feel like I can still get on the wrong side of that just by the way I don't have like much of a southern accent.
You're like, I'm from Asheville. And
glasses.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah. And I try to, exactly. It's just like, I'm the guy at the odd, you know, which is why I'm like, let's let him come back next week. Because like, I am that guy.
Please, I need a friend.
Opposite. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's interesting that Asheville and like Greenville, Mackenzie's from Greenville. I think there's a lot of from like Columbia, but it's like, Asheville and Greenville tend to get along pretty well. Or there's like half of Greenville that's like, it's not the same vibe as like Tennessee, but it's still, there's this like, that's misogyny and we don't like it, you know?
Right.
It's like snobbery. But then there's like an alt side of Greenville that Asheville is down with. It's kind of weird that like, yeah, we know all these Greenville comics in Asheville. And then I know that like Bristol and Knoxville, y'all know each other. But then like, we don't really mix.
Nope.
It's literally the north side too that we don't mix with, which seems kind of weird.
That is weird.
But Mackenzie, she can go anywhere. It's like she's not really
anywhere.
She's just full on alien.
She's been in Nashville all week, and you know that. I mean, Zanies has a particular formula. They have a particular brand of comedian that's on that stage typically, and I don't think it's necessarily her. But from what I understand, it went very well, and it should.
She's like Mitch Hedberg or something. She just transcends. Yeah. Like she's such a character.
Yeah.
That, yeah, we have another comedian named Isaac Truman that I asked, you know, could make it. That is, I mean, it's similar to Mackenzie in some ways, where it's like great short jokes, super weird, and just like doing all the things you shouldn't do, like staring at the floor, kind of apologizing with your body language, but somehow murdering.
I love it, man. Yeah. And also, like, you know, you mentioned the word bro earlier, like talking about the Knoxville bros, which is very fitting. And I think I use that word so much now when talking to other comics because I do think that that's a relatively new, you know, like stand-up evolves, obviously. And I mean, I grew up on old 60s and 70s stand-up, which is so different than now. But this idea of like the Shane Gillis fans who were third string on the high school football team, had no identity and picked up a microphone and now they're comics. Like there's a lot of those guys and some of them make it quite far and very successful and run shows and shit. I mean, it's pretty great, but that's kind of new to the I guess little petri dish that is stand up. So people like Mackenzie in my mind are like, no, that's what it actually always has been. Weird, oddballs,
timeless.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And I'm trying to find my Mackenzie. You know, I think we're all trying to like,
aren't we all?
Go long enough to be to be like Emo Phillips or whatever. Like to be like, what is it about me that I'm not just like another just white dude with a beard on the show? And I don't know that I've really succeeded at that. That's why going long and trying to spend more time and like look at the 40 minutes on my whiteboard and be like, what is it, you know?
What is it?
What is it in there that's like can be more like Mackenzie, you know? It can be more like, that was fun. I'll never forget that person. That was weird, you know? Like I think it takes most of us 10, 20 years to find that.
Yes.
But I think also there's nothing wrong with ripping off Shane Gillis when you start. I think like you're supposed to. The Rolling Stones' first albums were just straight blues covers.
Right.
You know, and then later it's like we've developed this form of rock and roll that's new.
Yeah.
And it's like that with comedy. It's so scary that most of us can't just be ourselves, or you got to start by covering somebody. And like Shane's just the guy that's like so phenomenally good
right now.
Right now.
The flavor of the month.
Like when I started, it was Louis C.K. I think Dimitri Martin was kind of before that. Before I started, a lot of people were getting up there and being like Dimitri, you know, being like little geniuses, a little quiet.
You see a lot of like Chris Porters too. Like in the South, you see certain mannerisms and stuff that you go, oh, I know that, and I understand that. I guess the bro thing is interesting too, and every time I talk about this, it maybe feels like I'm singling out one person or another. I'm really not. I think what I'm trying to articulate is authenticity. Like Mackenzie may be odd or different to my market, but she's authentically her. She is a character, but she's not putting on. You know, that's who she is.
Yeah, she goes home and like there's no one around, and it's still
just looking at the floor. Yeah, right. Like that's just her, and it's so genuine.
Or she's like really fooling us.
Well, there's also bros that's genuinely who they are, and it works. If you're not that though, that's when I go. I think audiences smell that shit. Yeah. I think they know when you're just not doing you.
They definitely know. That's one of the cool things about it, about what we do is like there's some type of group think. And that's what scares me about the young college kids. I'm like, there is something where like you get 50 people in chairs and they can smell authenticity.
Oh yeah.
And that's something we've had in our DNA since the beginning. Like
it's a human.
losing that. Maybe there's some new like matrix skills that are worth the trade-off that I just don't understand because I'm like older.
I don't get it either.
But there's old dudes that are like dropping off now. Like they all do Seinfeld, as we're talking about. That's their Shane Gillis. We're like, I can't really do impressions, but they like when they get worked up.
What's
they
the
do,
deal
like,
with
it's like they're all
Yeah.
So each like generation of comics has their like
they all have
their guy. That's
and
like,
I say this all the time too, and maybe even on the show. Like in my mind, everybody's ripping off their influences. Everybody's doing. You have that's art. You're building off of that. Where it maybe runs into trouble for me is when somebody's ripping off one guy a little too much. Like if you ask me who I'm ripping off, I could tell you the 5 comedians that make up my stand-up. I know who it is. I'm not an idiot.
Will you tell us?
I mean, yeah, I could tell. I got like certain things. Like sometimes I'll catch myself, especially when I'm riffing on stage and stuff. I'll go, "Oh, that's very Theo," or "That's very Tom Segura," or "That's very Louis." Is probably the biggest one where I go, "That's I didn't steal a Louis joke, but I said that as if Louis would respond." You know, like I'm channeling these influences. Where it becomes a problem for me is when I'm not a mixture of 5 guys. I'm just doing one guy. Yeah. That's when I go, "Okay, you got to be a little more clever at hiding it, or making it." Trying to pump as much of you as you can into that mix a little bit.
I think even like try to steal farther away from what I am. Like if I'm trying to steal Maria Bamford's act, like or Richard Pryor. I mean, you don't want to be racist, but it's like
I was gonna say I didn't want to call you out, but you're basically doing Richard
Patrice O'Neal or people. Whereas like copying somebody that's like that is my demographic. Yeah, like Louis, like bald ginger dad. So it's like that feels like it could be more dangerous. Than stealing.
Well, people will see it faster. Maybe.
Yeah, right. So if you're stealing from, and I think stealing from like other genres, like if you're stealing from music for jokes or you're stealing from architecture for jokes, that's when it gets really good. When you're like listening to a podcast about like science. And you steal from that guy because nobody's ever going to know.
Nobody's going to find.
He doesn't have it.
Well, it's also like living your life. That's another thing we kind of touched on earlier. Is like when your identity and your whole world just becomes stand up, and you have nothing outside of it. What are you writing about? You have to like kind of live and be a human, not just be a comedian all the time. I mean, you are in your mind, but like if you can only do so many. I was at a show the other day. Jokes before the audience is like, do you do anything else? Do you anything relatable? Because we're not comedians. We need to relate, And it's interesting. You brought up music too. I do want to touch on, so every guest picks a vinyl. And I will say, I don't think that Hank Williams was on my radar for you as far as like what you were going to pick. So talk me through that a little bit. Like what made that decision? Hank Sr. was the pick.
Oh yeah, I mean I love old American music.
Do you?
Like like Robert Johnson, Hank Williams, Lead Belly. Like that's
big fan.
I can play that stuff. I mean I do the yodeling. I mean I don't know if I really. Yeah, I mean I like when I got into music before comedy, I went like I like to go back. Even to this day, I'd rather be influenced by some dead guy than like I don't really care about the specials that are out now. Go back to the source. So like Hank Williams. Robert Johnson, like you got like Nirvana, Neil Young, the Stones. Right. You keep going back and you get to like those guys. And before that, there was like no recording equipment, so it was just like it's just like mythological.
Nobody knows who they stole it from. Yeah.
So I love. I just love.
Well, Elvis is kind of that first guy, right? Where they're like he stole everything. But the people he stole from also stole it. They just there's nobody to point to. Like, they didn't write it down. That's all it is. Somebody got away with stealing, and then Elvis stole that. That's all it is.
And he brought it to like a wide audience. Right. So and that was like good and bad, depending. It's like the guy from like Coming to the Odd from Tennessee. It's like, he's doing evil and good things. I don't know. Maybe let's just.
Why is he shaking his hips like that? Yeah. I do think the early Americana stuff is interesting. And when you mentioned like going backwards, I was talking with that guy, Chris Tester, who's our newest kind of regular comedy person in the scene, and the new kid who's like 35 and he's a great kid, and I was with him last night. I love him. I'm very impressed by him. He's 6 or 8 months in, and I'm just he's like a comedy fan. He's a comedy nerd. It's cool to hang out with somebody who can talk that stuff. And one thing we were talking about is like, Louis probably my guy, or like we were actually talking about Conan is like a huge influence for me. But if you look at Conan, his biggest influences are like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner. So then you find them through that, and then you find who their influence, and you can always like Russian doll it and go backwards. I love that stuff. I love that so much.
You go back to the source and find, and comedy's weird too, because I feel like with music I can hear Hank Williams, and it was like I could get it. I mean, the fidelity is weird and it's a little off, but like with jokes, there's such a reflection of the time. Like I went back to Lenny Bruce, and like it's been a while, but I couldn't even really understand like a lot of what he like. You know, it's like it's kind of interesting how like I feel like music maybe ages longer. I don't know if this is really true, but I have this thought that like I mean like Pryor is still like, and Carlin's still kind of like, I understand it and it's funny. But maybe there's something about the way like Pryor was talking about like his pain and a way that is timeless and trying to like, that's what I love about Hank Williams. It's like trying to do things that are timeless. Like I try not to do a lot of jokes that are like I've heard Jeselnik say that. Like he wants his jokes to make sense in any time, so he's not doing topical stuff. And to me,
he's like, my sister has cancer.
Yeah, it's a transcendent
forever.
Like, forever.
Right.
Unless they cure cancer.
Well, that's true.
But they're not going to cure cancer.
No, it's too much money. They have it. They're not going to give it to us. I do think something real interesting about that whole like kind of concept too of like the evergreen mentality with music and stand up is how different it is in the world of like sitcom and movies. And I think video has a lot to do with it, like quality of video and special effects can really age something. But my girlfriend, I've said many times on the show, did not grow up with a lot of comedy or stuff. So I've had the pleasure of like introducing her to what's good and going, we're going to watch this. You've never seen Goodfellas. You've never watched The Sopranos. Like,
I heard you and Dustin there talking about Castaway.
Dude, we watched Castaway.
Like, you know, great old classics like Castaway.
It happened to be on. We were in a hotel. It happened to be on, and that did not age well. But the funny part with comedy in particular is like we'll go back and watch different eras of comedies and stuff, and I at least feel that like early mid 90s level is starting to sour a little bit. Like the pacing just can't keep up anymore with like our TikTok brain. You know, I made her watch. We watched Tommy Boy recently. She's never seen Tommy Boy, and she was like, it's kind of slow. And I was like, this, because I love it so much. It's so nostalgic.
Watched it in a while,
But I will say once she pointed it out, I was like, you're right. It's not this like rapid fire shit that we're used to now with, you know, all these like a new something comes out every day that's funnier and funnier. And that's Tommy Boy's what, 95 or 6 or something, 98, somewhere in there. So it's like 25 years or so. It's starting to feel a little slow.
Yeah, there's slow, and then there's also the like misogyny and stuff. That's like that's like the Asheville. Where I think there's a part where he's like, "Is that for me, Dad?" And he goes, "No, son, that's for me." I'll like be watching those movies with my like Asheville 14-year-old daughter, and she'll be like, "What the hell?" I'm like, all right, "I'm sorry.
It was a different time.
I didn't see it before."
Chris Farley can do whatever he wants, man. I don't even care. He's the ninja. He's the Hollywood ninja. I don't even care. I do think sometimes that stuff too, like growing up on things from the 60s and 70s, you know, it's almost just like it's just a piece of the pie. Like you're just gonna get some of that, you know. Even like downstairs in my vinyl collection, I have old albums all the way back to like the 40s and stuff. But a lot of times I'll listen to like Red Fox albums, and there's things that he'll say that you're like, Jesus Christ, and it's like imagine that 60 years ago. Like you think that's taboo now. He did it then, you know. It's really but to me that's what comedy is a little bit.
Like the Eddie Murphy, like I mean they haven't scrubbed that, have they? Like his specials from that's the 80s, like his like Michael Jackson talking about his like, you know, the gay shit material. Like I haven't like tried
Delirious
to watch it again,
has some rough verbiage. It didn't age well as far as verbiage.
But he's not been canceled for that, so I think there is kind of an understanding that like that was the times, you know. But if you said it now, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, people are so mad right now because of politics that I feel like it's a little extra, like because of the news, like the Asheville's like a little extra ready to like, you know, tear somebody, like they want to see somebody like lose everything because of some little thing.
They're also very quick to like push someone into that category of other, where it's like, you're not one of us. And it's like, no, I don't like them either, but I'm not one of you. So who am I? Like, that's very confusing.
This is the world I live in,
to the outside. Well, I mean, that's you in that bubble where you're like, I don't really know if I belong in here, but I don't belong out there for sure. So I don't know. I think a lot of people feel that way. And I think things like music or comedy is, in my mind at least, supposed to like transcend those weird bubbles and just like fit. Like it honestly makes me very happy that you feel it, because I think a lot of people would maybe look at early American music or, you know, Hank Williams or whatever and be like, oh, that white honky bullshit. Like, but it's not, like, at its roots, you know. And you mentioned Robert Johnson too, which is another one that like people listening probably have no idea who we're talking about. But in my mind, it's like similar to what you said. There is no Stones without all that. I was listening to a thing the other day on the Are you a big Beatles guy at all?
Yeah.
So I'm not like a huge Beatles person, but I have some interest in the general knowledge. And then I saw a video that was like the history of the Beatles in 90 minutes with Conan O'Brien, and I was like, click.
All the things.
So, dude, I watched it.
Favorite stuff.
Very interesting.
Is Norm there too?
No, unfortunately, but boy, what a take that would have been.
They would not have covered the Beatles.
Beatles,
at all. It would have just been one.
Yeah. 90-minute setup.
Is this a recent thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very recent. So it's like a series. It's a pod series, and I can't remember the name of it, of guys who do this all the time. And I guess Conan's a fan of their pod, and they break down different bands and stuff. And then when they decided to do the Beatles, they know he's a huge Beatles person, so they had him on. And it's very interesting. And one thing that they talked about that I never considered is on the early albums, Beatles albums, they covered a lot of like American pop hits from the 50s and stuff. But that they would do songs like Mr. Postman or Girls, and that they didn't change the gendered language. Like Girls was the example they used. If anyone doesn't know the song, there's a chorus where they just, yeah, girls, basically is the whole thing. Or boys, rather, sorry. They could have changed it to, yeah, girls. But they didn't. They left it, yeah, boys. And it's like a salute or like an honoring to that original song. Mr. Postman, they didn't change that to fit the gendered thing. So I think that's one area where art almost like, I like that it made me like the Beatles more, that they like saluted those originals. And comedy for me is the same way, where it's like as soon as we start to like tinker with shit and figure out how do we make comedy work now, that's not what the thing is.
Yeah,
it's not what it is.
Taking the N-word out of Mark Twain or
something
like that.
Leave it in there. Put more in there.
Start taking words out because of this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Julia on the podcast. She's a very funny trans comedian, and she was saying like, I actually clipped that part where she was saying like, but a redneck audience can truly love me,
Yeah.
Whereas like there is the feeling when she's talking about like being trans, that like the left audience might be kind of being like, is this okay? This is getting pretty dark.
Right.
Am I going to get canceled for laughing? Whereas like the redneck audience can kind of be like, this is an individual that's struggling. It's just that simple. And I'm with this person, even though like out there, I might've like voted differently.
Yeah.
Like, there's some kind of like steadfast, like unwavering thing. That's like, it is Hank Williams. It is Robert Johnson. Like to me, that's like,
right.
Let's not scrub that out.
Right. Cause what does it lose if we do? And I think it's something, I don't know. It's calculable, I guess. Like if you were to take Delirious, Eddie's Hour, and scrub all the things that didn't age so well or that are not PC, it's not the same hour. And I'm sorry, like I understand that some of that language now is deemed offensive or you don't agree with it or what, but like it was what it was. And I think we should be allowed to like it still and not, I definitely in my own life have encountered situations where it's like, I almost don't want to say sometimes, my favorite stand-up is Louis C.K. Like, people don't like when I say that.
It's hard to say. It's really hard.
I'm sorry.
That there's anyone that like has worked harder at writing and performing.
That is more prolific. I'm sorry.
Just like writing, he wrote for Conan, so he was like doing it. Conan for me was like huge too. That was like
huge,
big.
Huge.
Watched that every night in the 90s.
Yeah,
like 12:30 at night.
And regardless of 50 years down the road, we find out Conan was a serial killer. Whatever. Like I don't care. Like
he seems more like a serial killer than anyone because he is so like squeaky clean. It's like Mulaney, where you're like, well, of course. Yeah. Of course.
The guy in the suit.
He was sneaking drugs that entire time. I was like, no, I think Conan's just really...
Yeah. Cliff Huxtable. Of course it's America's Dad.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah.
And I think Louis kind of fucked up when he didn't fuck up. The show's great, but like presenting himself as the moral dad, I think probably created more...
Doesn't help.
That people wanted to tear down.
I get into this debate a lot. Actually, with Sean Carter, we wound up talking about Louis a lot because he hates Louis. And my whole thing is like the thing that...
Is comedy or is just as a person?
Both. All of it. I think he's very much of the opinion of like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even think he should be allowed in the world of... Like, I just disagree. We just fundamentally disagree from the roots.
Because of the masturbating?
Yes.
Okay, well,
So my issue with this...
I got no problem with that.
My issue with this this conversation is a lot of times when this conversation comes up, it'll be a circle where we're talking about Harvey Weinstein, fucking Jeff Epstein and Bill Cosby and Louis. And I go, that's just not the same thing. Like, can we just please stop lumping all this shit together and going, they all did the same,
And Michael Jackson's music, like, we need that.
Thriller rules, dude.
We all just agree, like, that we need the music.
He hit that level.
Yeah.
I think Eddie's the same way, where it's like, sure, they could go after him now, but he's Eddie Murphy.
They just
what
made
are
a
you
whole
do?
documentary about him, so I think he's good.
He's
but you notice, like, when they show the clips, like, they didn't pick the clips where he's, like, doing, like, whatever, homophobic, which is, like, that word means, like, you're scared, or I don't know, that's not even the energy of it for me.
I don't think he's homophobic.
But it's like, you could make that documentary,
also, didn't he get busted for having sex with the trans person?
Well, there was something weird that didn't come up either.
No,
where
but
it's like,
how's he homophobic?
I mean, I almost think he should lean into that. He's like, clearly,
look, I cheat on my wife with trans prostitutes. How am I homophobic?
Before we even had that word, I mean, that's progressive as hell.
Yeah, really.
I was banging trans chicks before.
He's opening doors. I hate this. Luckily, he's never going to see this, but man, he's like a hero. What a shame. I do think there is a certain level you can hit to where it's like, oh, he's Donkey from Shrek. Leave him alone. You know, like it doesn't matter.
He's
anymore.
enough into
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, Louis does not have that grace from the public. It's also like it got caught up in that whirlwind of that time where it was tear them down and take everything from them. But I don't know. Are you of the opinion that like a person can kind of like serve their time a little bit too? You know, I'm like, you took everything from that guy. Like he was on top of the world and he started over and now he is again. Isn't that kind of commendable on its own a little bit? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's like, I like living in Asheville because I feel like I'm older and I grew up in a time. So I feel like it's good for me to be in a place that's too the other way because who knows, I might be kind of like grounded. More. Yeah. So, I mean, I think like with Louis, like I could really just see both sides of it. Like,
me too.
I really like my wife, like she's just like, I cannot and I'm like, I respect that. Like,
I get it.
We're not going to talk about him together or watch or listen to anything. But yeah, and I get the argument of like, well, he said he was going away for a long time and it wasn't that long. I'm sure you listened to him on Theo.
Yeah.
And I feel like, apologized. Like that was the first time I think he's really been like, I think he said like, I don't think I have a sorry that can cover that. I was wrong. I abused my power. I'm in this group. Was it a Sex Anonymous group? So I mean, that's like that. I mean, I feel like that interview is like really could maybe change some people's minds, but I don't think anybody's really trying to. The algorithm's not trying to clip that up and show it to those people that are mad. So that's just kind of the culture.
And the people who already have those feelings about someone like that are not going to pursue anything that might unjustify their hatred for that interview. It's actually interesting you bring that up because I think that just for personal reasons and obviously my love for both of those comedians and respect for them, that interview hit me really hard. Like to see one of my heroes basically break down and go, I am everything that you say I am. You guys think I don't feel the weight of this. That I do, and I'm still trying to continue on, and I'm getting some support for it. I think that interview may be the most like probably unseen, but incredible interview maybe I've ever witnessed. Like, just to your point, people are not going to see it
because people. That's what they've been saying. It's like, well, he's never actually like apologized since the letter. Like Aziz came out and like addressed it in the special. So I mean, it's like, but he did during that interview. Yeah.
What do you have to do to like earn the right to live?
Yeah. I mean, I
see both sides.
I think
I really
like,
do.
There are like, I guess Asheville is a place where there are some very angry people. They're very angry against men, and I feel with my spider sense that there was some sort of assault or trauma that happened to them.
Sure.
And there's just always going to be a lot of anger there. So I don't tell those people that I listen to the podcast. You know, but it's like I can hold space, like I'm going to trying to be like a dad who like can hold dichotomy, and like to me that's like you can hold two opposites, and like this whole Louis thing is like holding two opposites. But I mean there is for me a line where like I can't watch the Cosby Show.
Sure.
I can enjoy a joke by Louis. I still can. Yeah,
and the interesting point in using just him as an example for me is like, is it possible to go, what he did was, I mean, the man says that what he did was wrong. So of course I agree with what he's said. That was wrong. Also, he's probably the greatest living, like why can those two things not coexist? I think much to your polarization thing, it's like we live in this world where every fact has to be mutually exclusive, and it's like I don't think that's how that works. Obviously the Michael Jackson example, there's some horrific shit allegedly that he did.
Macaulay Culkin stands by him.
Dude,
you know that?
Yeah, that's the
Macaulay's
craziest.
like hung out with them all the time. No problems.
Never touched
I'm the
him.
godfather of his kid.
Yeah.
But maybe Macaulay was like so top shelf celebrity.
That's true.
And Michael was like nervous.
Can't
Like
chance it with Kevin.
Yeah.
I can't do it to Kevin.
So,
yeah.
yeah. But that's interesting that Macaulay has his back.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yes.
You know?
And there's other comics that have Louis back. And there's always like these people who are like, you don't understand.
And that's where the word
context.
bro starts becoming. That's why people start to be like, oh, the bro culture.
Yeah.
It's like they're basically, you know, and then it starts to get like you're protecting a rapist, and it's like, whoa, okay,
Whoa.
I don't know.
Am I?
You know?
Is that what I'm doing? Right.
Yeah, it's.
Right.
I mean, it's just so.
Or am I just saying that
complicated.
Sincerely and Sorry are two of the best specials of the last 10 years? Is that okay? Did you say that? Why is that not okay?
Yeah, it's like I guess there's like just other things happening culturally where it's like some people get thrown into the fire because you know to sacrifice for the greater good, and that's just kind of like I think that there's maybe some legitimacy to that. I was never like abused or anything like that as a kid, so I don't know what that's like. So I try to like hold space for that.
Sure.
And then
well, there's something to having empathy for like situations you don't understand.
Yeah.
While simultaneously like believing what you believe and having your faith. It's so annoying to me when people are like, you have to take up arms against everything, even if you don't understand it.
You have to take a side.
Why?
Because it is a war. I mean, that's like the left and the right thing, too. It's just comedy. It's like, are you a Republican? Yeah. No.
Cascade Draft House. I'm proud to tell you that Cascade Draft House is a proud first sponsor of the Mind Over Mike podcast. I'm very excited to team up with them, and they are a special business. If you love good beer, I know I do, you got to get down to Cascade Draft House. It's on State Street in Bristol, Tennessee, and they've got an amazing selection of 40 rotating taps, so there's always something new to try. They've got ciders, they've got seltzers, they've got IPAs, lagers, you name it. Tons of cool stuff, and it's not just about the drinks at Cascade. It really, truly is an awesome vibe in there. They've got open mic nights. There's fun for everybody. It's a great spot. Go and check out them, and thank Cascade Draft House for supporting the Mind Over Mike podcast. Now back to the episode. Asheville's also, that's not exclusive to comedy there, too. It's in this, but I mean, that's a very blue city in the otherwise very red rural South. So it's like, I think they've always had that. Yeah. They almost relish in like being the villain too, or being the outsider. Yeah. And I know people like that. I know people who are like,
I don't think they feel like they're the villains though. I don't feel like
that's what I'm saying.
They relish, but I don't think
they relish in being the outsider, I should say, or the anomaly. Or the only one who's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's more my feeling.
Right.
Because of where I'm originally from. But I'm from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, so that's like, a very like looking at that, it's like kind of a more liberal place too.
Sure.
So kind of always been like, in there.
They've
like
got an interesting history themselves. I mean, they did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oak Ridge participated in some neat programs over the years.
Yeah.
They did some cool stuff.
No blood on our hands.
Not at all. Technically, I don't think there was much blood. I think it was more of like dust.
Vapor.
It was more vapor. I am curious too, because one thing that comes up on this show quite often is as we're talking about stand-up and influences and stuff, I think you and I have talked a lot over the years about comedy and like who we love, contemporary, both like peers and famous people. We've talked about the difference between Asheville and Bristol a lot. What I really don't know about you is like as a kid when you're at home, what's like playing on the TV? Like was stand-up a part of your childhood at all, or was it sitcoms? Anything funny at home? Did Dad show you funny stuff? Yeah. How did it play out for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think like my parents really didn't like play cool albums. Like I wish I would have been listening to Carlin and the Beatles and stuff, but I kind of had to find all that myself as a teenager.
Sure.
When you're like, I'm my own person, so
I'm too cool for all your music, Dad.
Yeah. I mean, I think like Looney Tunes to me actually is like still pretty high level. Like I think
it's maybe the funniest show ever.
Like that's
it's so funny.
Like there's like I like to watch. I say this all the time. I probably said this to you. I like to watch Richard Pryor with the sound down.
Yeah.
And if he like gets on the ground like at least 8 times, and like he's like it's totally Bugs Bunny. And then if you like printed out the words, it's like it's really.
It's not
vulnerable. It's not. Yeah. But it's in there. So adding the Bugs Bunny. So I mean, I do stand by Looney Tunes. Just like the violence of it. Like we were watching something. My parents still play those like Woody Woodpecker stuff, and they'll be like chasing each other, and they'll like run up into the painting on the wall, and they're like running through. It's like That to me, that's like a Louis joke. It's like surreal.
Yes.
Like you're like breaking the boundaries of reality. So
Yes.
there's that. And then The Simpsons came out in 5th grade. And that's interesting because Conan was like there for that.
Yeah, the monorail.
So like, and then, the monorail, all those episodes. And like, and then Seinfeld was huge, honestly.
Huge.
Like, that was like the stand-up in the 90s. And David Cross and Janine, like the alt. Like,
right.
Which is not my favorite now.
Patton Oswalt.
But so that kind of stuff. But then like, I'd say Conan show like in college and like Norm coming and sitting on the couch. Actually, SNL too. Like Weekend Update, because my SNL guys were like Tommy, Chris Farley and
the best.
Spade and all those.
The best.
Norm. So it's that kind of stuff. But really like, I wish that I had been like listening to comedy albums then,
Well,
but
we used to do talking bits too, me and Michael Rose. And one of the big questions was like, what are some of your influences? And more often than not with stand-ups, when we'd ask them that, it was rarely stand-up. Like we had Three Stooges, Looney Tunes has come up before, and these things where it's like, I think in our minds we like to think, oh, I'm a stand-up because George Carlin's so prolific. Sure, but also I watched a hell of a lot of Family Guy growing up, or whatever. Like all these things that make it into your psyche.
When Family Guy came out, I was like, this is so genius.
It's so good.
Because I'm not living in New York, I'm not exposed to like all that culture. So it's like, for me, like Family Guy was like so... I was like, this is my kind of humor. You can be this weird.
It's so funny.
Because I remember it came out a couple times, and then it couldn't get going. Like, I think it came out in like 98, 99.
Yeah.
And then it like came back again, and it's like, I remember being like taping it and just thinking that was Mr. Show was like that too. I was like, this is like my kind of humor.
Yes.
Like people, I try to be funny, and people are confused and mad at me. But then, like, to me, that felt really avant-garde.
Yeah, and it's a lot of those like key players, and Conan's another one that you mentioned, and SNL and all that stuff, like Mr. Show, the Dana Carvey Show, all these things, and like the Daily Show. You see these people now who have emerged as like huge stars, like Steve Carell or Jon Stewart or Conan or all these people.
It's gonna be us.
If you like Southeast. Go backwards, that's us too. If you go backwards, they're all involved in those projects that didn't last and didn't make it, but they planted those seeds in like that young audience, so that now when you see Conan, you're like, I'll watch whatever. I'll watch him talk about the Beatles.
And they were working their asses off for so long. Like, I mean, Louis became like the biggest comedian. I think Judd Apatow said this. I don't think he likes him anymore, but like that, like it was like 20 years or something of him doing like in the 80s. He was doing like 8 sets a night in New York, and then he was like going and like writing sketches for like how long it takes. Like in one way, those guys just like they're the ones that lasted. Yeah,
and the Dana Carvey Show is another one too that I've heard them talk about, where it's like once that fizzled out, all those guys could have gone, well, that sucks. My life is. Instead, you got like Steve Carell and like all these huge Daily Show people, and I think there's something to your influences too with Looney Tunes and all that. Much like we mentioned earlier with the Russian doll thing, where it's like I bet if you ask Louis, he would probably also point to things like Looney Tunes or Three Stooges. Like it's all just building blocks at a certain point. And it is, I mean, this may be a little self-indulgent, but it's cool to think that on some level we are also somewhere in that chain. Event. Like if a new comedian comes to Blue Ridge for the first time and sees me go up, that they may kind of like something I said enough to come back next week or whatever, and that kind of, it's almost like an organic living lineage thing. And I don't know, maybe that feels a little woo-woo.
No, that's exactly why I picked Hank Williams. It's like that being a part of the tradition. I think in the Southeast too, like
family tradition.
We're like making it up. And your family is your local scene. Like Asheville's my family, so it's like, I do talk shit on them just like I do with my family, but also it's like I choose to be there. Of course. So I love it. But we are part of this tradition.
It's also ongoing. Important, you touched on this very early on, that while you continue to be critical of certain things you disagree with, or at least like maybe not critical, but draw attention to things in the scene that you don't necessarily think are great, you're still embraced by it and you're still like welcome to some degree in those rooms.
So. I'm sure there's threads, right.
Sure. There's a group chat somewhere that hates
I'm
your
on
guts.
The big one.
But Home Planet my ass. Yeah, there's somebody out there who's not a fan. But I do think it's almost a testament to them, like the one redeeming thing I've said about them this whole time.
That's the name of the thread,
That's the name of this episode, Home Planet my ass. I do think
all the people I haven't asked on.
Just being able to be a part of that chain and coexist and show others that, like, while you don't align 100% with every other person in the room, you're equally as important to the broader thing, I think, at least. And I mean, unfortunately, this line of work also comes with like personal interactions and fights and fallouts and all these things, and I've certainly fallen victim to many, some of them quite recent. But
it's good stuff, though.
Oh, I don't know if it is. Dude, I don't know if it is.
Not if it takes too much from you, it makes you quit.
It takes, well, it's getting close. It's pushing a line at a certain point. But I do think
after that wrestling show,
that might be it.
This might be the last podcast.
I said last year, I said that because we did last April, we did a huge 112 people or something at a CrossFit gym, and that's when Mark Norman dropped on the show and stuff. And it just, like, as a producer, in my mind, that's probably as good as it'll ever get. Like, we almost fucking nailed it. It was there's a couple little minor things, but it was almost a flawless show. It's like as good as I could ask for.
You should, whatever you.
I thought about just quitting. After that, I was like, no more producing.
Yeah, and that would have been wise. Probably but here you are. Like, you should get a massage that week, or like some nice whiskey, whatever your thing is. You should understand that week.
I can't do that. Right? The next morning, I'm like, how am I going to top it? I'm sick. I'm a sick person, and the answer is 300 people in a fucking wrestling gym. And then after that, who knows? There'll be another white whale show that I'm chasing for God knows how long.
Yeah, that is the flip side to being ambitious and goal oriented and crushing life. Is like, it's an insatiable thing. Like when I started, I was just like, if I could just get on a show and not be at a mic, and then
get paid $1.
And then I'm like, I need some longer sets.
$1. I used to say all the time, if I can make $1 from telling jokes.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, hell yeah.
3 months in.
Yeah.
Everything else has been bullshit since then, but I worry myself to death over it, and I keep that there because obviously it's cool to see, but like it is sometimes humbling to look at that and go, at one time that's literally all I ever wanted from this thing, and now I'm like, 300 people, how can I? That's all that matters.
And then you'll be like, if I did 300, then
next year we're doing 900 people.
But
plot
maybe you'll be doing the biggest shows in the Southeast. It'll be amazing.
Who knows?
So that's, it's...
I don't think that's going to happen.
There are times where I do have to, like, kind of roll it back. Like, I mean, the Wallace show was, like...
That's a ball.
I really needed a good sold-out one. And then, I've kind of, like, been easing back on the pod. It's nice to, like, do your show, do your podcast, do a little bit of, like, let's let the universe kind of come to you a little. Like, sometimes it's, like, I'm trying to, like... I think you do have to like will things into existence. Like I'm doing 50, I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing like 2 a week, but then it's like, all right, I'm just getting up in the morning and I'm just like screens and just like spreadsheets and just like I'm like crushing the list, and my kid's like, I drew this picture. I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm doing the numbers.
Dad's busy. Yeah.
And I do have to kind of check in with myself and be like, there is only so much energy and time. So I think there's a rhythm to that, where right now I'm kind of like trying to just say yes to other things and not force my big face on every...
Do you think that became... Is that an age thing? Is that an age in comedy thing? Like, because I very much suffer from everything you're talking about, where it's like, I wake up and I usually start my day with, like, what can I do? How can I grow? How can I level? Blah. I am so bad at taking a moment to go, hey, man, we're doing okay. Like even when, and you're very nice and other people are very complimentary and say things like, you run a great show or you're really crushing it, all these things. It's hilarious to me to hear those things, because 90% of the time I'm sitting in this house going, I'm a fucking loser. I'm doing nothing. I've got no shows. I suck at everything. And then somebody's like, hey man, you're crushing it. And I'm like, fuck off.
I mean, you really are.
Dude. But that's when it's so, it's almost like, body dysmorphia in a way where it's like, I can't see what you're saying. I just can't. I appreciate it. I can't internalize. I don't know what you're saying. To me, it's whatever is next and all these things. So do you think that was that always natural for you to have a little leniency for yourself?
No, I mean, if our dads had told us they loved us once, one time.
Don't make me cry, right? Don't make me cry on the show. I mean, it really does very much like supersede.
Mine was around, but he definitely never said I love you, so like that.
Mine wasn't around, but he did say I love you a lot. I'll say that. It was through drunken tears, but he did say it, and he said don't be like me and all that fun stuff. But I do like it's pretty sweet, kind of sweet. In all he tried. There's letters from jail that said he loved me. I do think on some level, it's all of my life, though, where I really struggle to ever go, you're enough, you're doing it. Like that's just not natural for me.
I think it's just like holding the dichotomy. I think it is always those two things. I don't think there's anyone that crushes all the goals that is present and happy. I mean, I don't think anybody's truly present and happy, but the monks or whoever, like they're not running a podcast and a 300-person show and got to come up with a new 5 minutes every month and whatever, but it's like... I will say that I don't really tend to get too depressed. And I think that there is a virtue to keeping busy and doing stuff.
Yes.
And I also think like the podcast to me is almost maybe the thing when it's all said and done. I'm like, wow, I like talked. I got to know people.
You're proud of it.
Yeah. Where it wasn't just me, look at me. Like there is something about the stand-up that's, I don't know. But
it's an act.
But I also think like finding your voice is like, if we all did that, maybe there wouldn't be as many wars. I don't know. It's like making up logic.
I mean, I don't disagree.
It, but yeah, but there are like, lately I've been like getting up and meditating again in the morning. I've been like, I've got real far away from that, trying to do my 50 shows and like I was like, it was just straight, and I'm like, I'm hitting it so hard from 9 to 5, you know, that then when I'm sitting there and my kids are like, today with the blah, I'm just like, I can't even like...
You're like, get to the punchline,
kid. You know how much shit I've done today?
Yeah.
This is like, So, like I've been getting up and just like staring at the trees, and I think getting my energy right at the beginning of the day is helpful.
That's huge. Also, like, I don't know if you have an issue at all with screen time or like disconnecting. I truly do more like than I'd like to admit, I think. So I'm working on that, but I think part of this whole like, the snowstorm recently, there are things in life like that snowstorm that literally for 4 days I couldn't leave my house. So it's like life sometimes does force me to slow down, and it's usually in those moments where I go, I don't do this enough. Like I don't create this snowstorm to slow me down ever. I literally need Mother Nature to lock me in my house for 4 days, or I don't stop. And I think it is ambitious. It is. I lost my grandfather when I was 21, and he was like a huge influence. He was my whole life basically, and we had a couple intimate conversations there right at the end that kind of created this like ticking clock in my head. It was a lot of things about like, don't waste time in life, chase the things, that kind of stuff, to where I do always have this clock counting down in my head, and I think that keeps me sprinting all the time. So then when life does slow me down a little bit, I do kind of go like, like this is not, why can't I do this for me anymore?
But this is productive.
This is productive
being
too.
Present with the person you love is productive, and that's something I have to really be reminded of.
It's not something that came natural for you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. And it's like I don't do any drinking or I don't do anything. Like I don't do THC gummies or anything anymore.
You gotta start, dude. We gotta get you loaded up.
I'm 46, so it's like
you better ride.
But I think productivity and like just podcast reps, building this machine.
That's your drug.
1,000 podcasts, 50. Yeah, it's like that is the same place in my brain where it's like, yeah, but are you enjoying it, or are you just like just
using it?
Yeah. So
also, I do want to point out, you could be productive and ambitious and be on THC gummies at the same. You could just add that to the mix.
I did. It was great. Yeah. And I miss it horribly.
There are some comments that I meet and I go, how the fuck are you even standing? Like, how are you not only but up there destroying for 40 minutes and you are loaded to the gills? Like, I don't get it. I don't relate.
Can you do like because to me, like the quality we're talking about being really productive, and everybody's like, wow, you're doing great at your career or comedy. It's like, to me, it's really like a not being moderate, And I think for me, like drinking and stuff, like I never got a DUI or never got really out of control, but over the course of like 25 years,
am I right? Yeah.
And a lot of that was luck too.
Right.
I'm cool. I promise. Like
I tried to get a DUI. They wouldn't give it to me.
There are some times.
Let me tell you.
But it's like zero or all of it, just and that's like like binging, even with like food. Like I eat in like a small window because like I can fast for a few days, and then when I'm eating, but once I start, it's like just like demon brain. So like I really struggle with moderation, and that's a thing I'm just starting to realize. So that's.
Well, and the problem with something like that is it does help you in certain areas of your life, right? Yeah. Like as a father, I'm sure you don't want to be in moderation with your kids. You want to soak up and make the most of everything.
I can be moderate with them. It's actually
that's the one area where I'm like, it's like a little here and there.
To be a lot. Maybe we should go in separate rooms for a while and have it be quiet.
Just a little here and there. Father, that's hilarious. You're microdosing parenthood, basically. Just a little to get me through the day. I don't want to overdo it.
That might be something I could do on stage.
Yeah, microdosing parenthood.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
It's very funny.
Like I actually can be quite moderate about that.
So. That's the one area where I've never binged on being a dad. I do think that like I also openly talk about being in psychotherapy on the show all the time and stuff. That's something that comes up with guests a lot. And one thing that I personally have worked on a lot is that pretty much everybody in my family is an addict in one form or the other. Alcoholic, substances, love addicts, sex addicts, all these things. Sometimes all the above. I am very fearful of that because I grew up with all that influence. And so things like moderation, things like just some of the bigger topics we've talked about are pretty important to me. And one area that it really kind of all goes out the window is with stand-up, where I'm like, this is the one area of my life where I'm allowed to be batshit crazy about it and talk about it and think about it all the time and never change it. And I think that may be why it's such a huge piece of me too, is because I don't place any limits on that. And I think as soon as I start to, that's going to be a problem. That'll be the end for me.
Yeah. And you've got momentum. You found these things, like you run a podcast and shows, you're doing these things like most people can't do. So it's like, now it's like, it starts to go on its own too. Or like when do you go like, oh, I just like, I'm not going to book people for the first part of the year. I'm going to do the 4 or 5 I have on the calendar and just kind of, whereas I would have been like, all right, like it's 2 a week, and just like, pumping the brakes a little bit is good. It's
also I think we're at the point now with Don't Tell, like tonight, and the last cancellation has something to do with this, but we're sold out plus 14 on the wait list. There was a time when I would have never believed you if you said that was in the like the amount of effort and struggle that we had early on to keep this thing afloat, which mostly was behind closed doors. And I didn't really talk about publicly, but I mean, just barely making it by and keeping the company invested in this area, because who gives a shit about the Tri-State? They have 200 cities. So it was like an uphill battle all the way to get this thing off. So now that I'm there and it's like we're sold out, we got 15 on the wait list, should be the time when I'm allowing myself to go, but it's not. It's when I'm going, we need 300. We got to do more. I hate myself for it, man. It's like it's this battle between being very prideful of my ambition and all these things I want to do, and also just going, hey man, just chill the fuck out for a minute.
I think it's human nature. I think it's everybody. It's like at its darkest, it's there will be blood. It's a very dark take on it. But
I've abandoned my boy, dude. I've abandoned my child. Let me tell you.
I mean, you don't. It's like Tommy Boy. There ain't no third direction.
There's no third direction, man.
Like it's like, are you like gonna just stop the things that you've built? Now you've built all this, and that's like you have all that. Like, are you gonna let it start to decay by just taking care of your
I'm literally
personal
like
relationships?
Getting anxious as you're saying it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't.
Are you gonna do more date nights and like just let that rot? No.
What, are you gonna talk to your girlfriend, dude? She doesn't see the vision. Screw her. So we have this interesting thing coming up too, where she's in pharmacy school and she is approaching her last year there, so she's doing rotations for like the next year. And so for the whole month of April and May, she will be living in Raleigh. And that gives me a great opportunity to be over there. Like, I've already got a bunch of dates lined up. I'm trying to, break into that scene and meet people and possibly make that jump. Who knows? Strong scene.
People don't talk about Raleigh enough.
Killers.
It's up there with Atlanta, I think.
Killers. Yeah. Good Nights is a hell of a club.
Yeah. Been there forever.
Been there forever. Great scene. And it's also like, it's in that area where there's shit around it. Because it's like, my show's good. I enjoyed my show here. But then it's just barren wasteland, 90 minutes in every direction.
And you could finally make it to Asheville and they're like, get out of here.
Your neck beard, fuck you. So it's nice to to think of being there and having Charlotte or having Greensboro or Winston, say all these other things that are there. So there is this level of but immediately when we start planning this 2-month period, I'm like, but who's gonna run Don't Tell back here? How am I gonna do the podcast? How am I gonna work my 40-hour week job and be that I can really get ahead of myself.
You take the podcast over there and you interview all those Raleigh people.
That's true.
Get EJ on there.
Do you know Kerry James? Do you know Kerry?
So.
He's my guy. I love it. He's been on the show too. He's from Raleigh, Durham, and he's one of my favorite comics to watch. He is really unique and really also a comedy nerd and a culture nerd, obsessed with all forms of art and stuff. Just such an interesting guy. And I think that being in that environment is going to be good for me, but also it is this weird thing where you don't want to overinvest in it. Do you have what's on your back burner right now? I guess it's the headlining thing for you, where it's I don't want to spend too much time focusing on all that because it's kind of fairy dust. It's kind of not it's this thing I'm creating, this hurdle I'm setting up in front of myself. That's an interesting thing I think, and mainly the reason I bring it up is a lot of people listening to this probably suffer from a similar thing, and maybe they're not comedians, but I think in life sometimes we do almost like create our own obstacles just to have something to trip over. That's very confusing about being a person.
It's when it makes you stronger to conquer those things in a way.
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to live a balanced life. I think. I think all the people. I think Norm was saying that a lot of like these great, heroes like, that did all these amazing things, like neglected their families. There's a whole other light where it's like, this is a terrible person. I do think I'm pretty present with my family, but that's something I have to really like check myself with. Like me and Emily take turns. Like we still put our kids like down every night, even though they're like old. So like every other night. With a trank
dart, you just
it does sound like that.
Hit them. We put them down, dude.
I mean, if it's a bad day, it's more like that. But generally, it's like I'll tell them a story. They still want to hear me talk, which is great.
That's a good sign.
And then I go I just kind of like lie in bed with each of them and talk for like I don't know, like 15 to 30 minutes and try to really listen. So that works that feels authentically like something I enjoy. Like I don't think it's good to hang out with somebody at a time that doesn't work for you too. It's like there's the resentment in that. So I think I'm proud that my kids are seeing me like live my dream and do things. My dad was like just a dad and went to some boring office job. So I try to build these places where I connect with them. I don't know. What were we talking about?
Well, no, exactly what you're saying. Like that balance between showing them, like leading by example a little bit, and also being true to them and setting time. The episode that will actually come out before yours is another comedian friend of mine, Corbin Lemaster. He's from Austin. He's from Missouri, but he lives in Austin, and he has kids that live in Missouri, and his the mother of his kids is there, and he's very like committed to that life. He also spends quite a bit of time on the road doing shows and even more time in Austin trying to break in and do shows, and he opens for Mark Norman and all these things. And we talked about that, like that interesting balance between him being like, I'm not with them 4 days a week, but I'm also showing them chase your dreams, do these things. So it's like that balance is so tricky, and I don't have kids, so it's not something I fully relate to, but I almost do in a way because it's to me, like it's the balance for me. It's not even for other people. I think sometimes also it probably depends on who you surround yourself with. Like I used to have a lot more negative voices in my life that are like in my ear going, you're not doing enough, push harder, sacrifice everything.
That shit worked.
It worked, but to what end?
At what cost?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's kind of that's where I'm at now. I'm in this weird place now where it's like a lot of that has been cut out of my life. And I'm still being productive. So it turns out you can be happy and do cool shit at the same time. Who knew?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Nobody's really that happy, though.
Nobody's that happy. No, happy.
Even the monks, they're just like seeing their suffering with a more calm mind.
They're like, God, if it's rice again today, I'm gonna kill myself. They can't be that happy.
And then the rice bell rings.
Do you God. Oh, is it 4 already? I do think the music thing is interesting to me too, because do you still actively you don't participate in bands or anything, but you just
I try to get people to come to my shed and just play with me. I have like a dad next door that does that once a month. I'm carrying all the stuff to a place and setting it up. It's too much bandwidth. Like I only have so much time, so I do have a whiteboard, and I really like to like try to be deliberate about it. And right now, I think trying to do the 50 headliner sets. And right now, I'm taking a break to see maybe I'll get offered some more. That's a goal. Even if like maybe the podcast could be like once or twice a month for a little bit.
Sure.
So that's just kind of like what I'm focused on right now.
Well, the truth is too, it's perfectly okay if that's just something that you love to do and don't commoditize it. Like I'm really bad at that. I'll discover new things and go, man, I'm really passionate about this. How can I make money off of it? I can't just have something for me. That's essentially what this show is, because views aren't huge, and I don't really try to grow it that much, just organically through continuing to do it.
No ads.
No ads. I may have a new sponsorship coming up, maybe. I don't know by the time this one comes out. But it's a former guest of the show. It's a local business. It's more a promotion for them. It's not something this is not going to take me away from my day job. This is kind of for me. But in your case, music is, I think, almost like a more special one, because you can do that totally by yourself.
Yeah, and I did. And before I started comedy, so like 10 years ago, I was just in my room with a laptop, playing all the instruments myself. And it's like, man, this is really just gotten to be like pretty lonely. So like one thing I do, like I do want to keep comedy in balance and keep doing it fairly hard, is like if you take comedy out, like my whole social life's kind of gone too. So it's like, and the social life I've gained through comedy is by far fucking far as hell the most diverse.
Oh yeah.
Like ages, gender, race, whatever. So I mean, to me, it's like that's good. I've got people coming over to the house for the podcast that are from all different walks of life, and we sit down and talk, and that's from comedy. And my kids will sometimes interact with the guests. So I mean, I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, I met them when I was there. Yeah. I do think that's a cool piece of the puzzle too. That anyone who's listening who's not a stand-up might not ever really consider like this. You know, I think people go to things like Don't Tell and they go, man, there were 7 comedians on there and they were all so different. Those same 7 different people are also smoking out back after and chatting for 2 hours. And the only thing that matters is, are you funny? Yeah. Like that might be the most truly like even playing field in humanity, honestly, is like funny supersedes all here. Yeah. It's all that matters.
And we're all trying to find the McKinsey in us, trying to find the like, what is my like weird magical creature that's like, it kind of transcends like at work, it's tended to be like white IT bros that are my demographic. Right. It's like, man, I'm so glad if I just went full on career, I was more balanced and that would be my social life, and like I wouldn't have the awareness I have about.
Yes, you know, and that's another bubble that you're just inside of that you don't even realize. I think I'm almost fortunate in a way that like my day job, I work I'm in marketing for a chain of credit unions, and so I work in a big corporate office, and there's 50 other people there. Most of them are white women over the age of 55. You know, so it's like I typically have almost nothing in common with them around me, which keeps this very strong divide.
Love you so much more than they love each other.
I can crush at the office. Let me tell you, Ryan. I can run bits on these old gals. They don't even know.
I bet they brag about interactions they have with you to each other. I bet they try to one up each other. Like
they do
at
this,
the old lady tea parties.
Dude, they do this horrific thing where when a new employee comes around, they introduce them to everybody, and every fucking time they'll walk by my cubicle and be like, "He's a comedian," and I'm like, "No, that's okay. You don't have to."
And they look in like, "It doesn't look that funny."
Yeah. Really? Yeah, they're expecting like clown shoes.
Yeah, that's how I feel at work. It's always like, that guy?
Yeah.
Never made me laugh that hard.
That's kind of my favorite thing, though, is being that like sleeper.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you don't realize this guy's actually the funny one.
Instead of like, I could see that. He's pretty loud.
Right. Like, how many funny dads do you know where you're like, Jesus Christ. Oh, he's funny. He's always aggravating the waiter when we go to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, he certainly, like, he talks the most, I'll say that.
Yeah, right. He's hilarious. He's so funny. I never want to see him again. Yeah, it does happen. So we got the show tonight. You got any other headlining things coming up? Definitely promote anything. The Wallace.
The 13th of March.
This will be
Friday the 13th of the next month. Yeah, the one coming up when you hear this. Please come. Yeah, I think it's like 99 tickets. I think we sold a third of them, and then we had to stop.
Oh, wow.
And Chris was like, well, we'll just give them all back. I'm like, what if we try to transfer those to the new date?
Just see who sticks around. Who holds them.
Yeah, so excited about that.
The Wallace is amazing.
Going for like a progressive kind of weird. It's like Brandy Cloud and John Pruitt. So a bunch of like weird voices, to balance out this.
Yeah, I love it. When I saw the flyer, I was like, that's perfect for the Wallace, especially. I mean, that room at its best is maybe one of the better rooms I've ever
I wish done. That if there was one of those in every city, like that's the perfect size.
It's perfect.
50 to 100 black box. Theater vibes.
Yep. Green room's great.
Yeah.
Accessible from the back. You don't have to trample through everybody. It's built for it. I do think
more places like that.
There's got to be
for the 50.
If you're listening and you own a BYOB 99-seat black box theater in a town somewhere and you want Ryan to headline, email me and then I might call Ryan. Okay, email the pod.
Like Ryan's a little busy. Yeah,
I can do it.
I just did 300 at the round. Like Ryan's not even come close to.
I almost am like nervous to even keep saying 300 because I know sales are not going to hit the max. So then it's going to be like, well, it's actually 120. But it's like even that would be fine. Anything would be fine.
No, that's like that's what I tell my kids though too. Is I'm like I'm getting up being like, come to the thing. So if I fail, there's a part of me that's like I don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Because then if I fail, it's like no, it's cool. If you like only 15 people come. And you fail that big, that's amazing. Like it really is. And that sounds cheesy, but it's
still
like
15
you like
people.
Swung that big, and you totally fucking failed in front of everybody. Like on the other side of that, there's like that's maybe better long term for you. Yeah. I mean, if you don't quit. And I really mean that.
That's a wound that's going to scab over for sure. That's going to be some growth.
Yeah.
I do think, regardless of how it goes, I'm going to try to be very present and be very grateful, like we mentioned. I'm also not closing it out. I'm not headlining. I'm not doing these things. So when you look forward at like your calendar and these things that you have to promote, is it mostly like ambition? Is it excitement? Is it a mix? Is it I struggle always with like self-esteem stuff and self-doubt and all these things, but for you, as you look ahead to this calendar, is it, you seem to be kind of like a virtually always positive, glasses half full type of guy.
I try to be. I mean, and I think keeping busy helps me with that. I will say, like, when I was talking to Cody on the pod recently, like, cranking up the, like, I'm headlining. I'm telling you, I'm coming to your place, like, cranking up that machine. Yeah. The voice, it's like, do I suck? Is it? Has gotten louder, but I've been through enough life experiences to know that that's good too. But it certainly is kind of like, is this like, you know, the
imposter thing?
Yeah, like, so it's definitely there, and that's why I need to like sit and look at the trees in the morning and be like, I see it. Yeah. That's cool.
It's out there.
And also, it's like the reason I want to do all this is because I don't expect to be great at first. Like, I do have a special that's coming out next month too. Finally, I'm told my dry bar special after 13 months will be released next month, and that's. I hope I like how it looks. But again, it's like,
where'd you shoot it?
In Provo, Utah, near Salt Lake City.
Interesting.
So I hope it's good.
How long has it been since you shot it?
12 months from like this week. Exactly 12 months. 12 and then, so it'll be out on the 13th. So it's like, geez, it's taking forever. It's 25, 26 minutes. Yeah. It's like, but, you know, I know that like when I was in bands, people would go to record their album, and 9 times out of 10, they'd get in their heads, argue about it for a year, and then just break up because trying to actually release a thing, like you see yourself, you put things, it's very brutal.
Oh, I hate it.
So like your first thing isn't going to be your best thing, probably. That's actually bad if it is amazing. So these first headliner gigs, you know,
you're just trying to level
special,
up.
It's like, if I can keep going after I've done like my next special, I've done one before.
Right.
After I've done like 20 headlining shows in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably done that much ever, but, you know, in a year, 30, 40, then I just know on the other side of that, there's a me that can handle, you know, and all I have to do is just, you know, abandon my family. And
you just have to pay these small prices. It's not a lot. Well, it's interesting too.
I can get so many families.
There's always another family out there. If there's one message I want to be taken away from this episode, it's that there's always another family. I do think my mind almost drifts as you're saying that to something like the first day of college or something where you go, oh my, this is so overwhelming. I can't imagine. And then before you know it, you're like walking across the stage and you're like, holy shit, I did it. Like, to me, it's very much what you're saying there, where it's like starting out, I don't even know what's down. Who knows what the next 4 years, 8 years, 20 years of my life look like. But you have to go to, you have to start doing it, or you're never going to walk across the stage. You got to do it, or just quit. Like, you could just give up. But I don't think you're that type of person. No. I do. So the special, it's coming out on Dry Bar.
Yep. And hopefully they'll put out like a YouTube clip that's long that you can watch. I think I might have like a code that you can watch it for free. You don't need to buy it or anything. But,
that's good.
And I should get a copy of it where I can clip it if it looks good. And it's like not just my little camera. So who knows? I've heard people say it made no difference, and I've heard people say it did help. But it's like, it's a cred. It's like, hey, I have a podcast you never heard of, and Dry Bar. And I'm like, is it the clean Mormon thing? Well,
sort of. Yeah. Well,
it's cooler than Don't Tell.
What's interesting is,
I could have done a Don't Tell special. I chose to do the Dry Bar.
I've worked with a number of comics who have Dry Bars. Actually, just last night I was at Blue Ridge. I wasn't on the show, but I was with Andy Forrester, and he has one. And I know from interactions with him and some other comics that have them that, just like you're saying, it really is totally up. Which I guess everything really is. Who knows how anything's going to play out? But I do think, regardless of the feedback that you get or the clicks or the views or whatever, I think it's good that you did it. And much like the headlining thing, it's like, I'm sure that was terrifying to fly to Utah and do the shit and wait 12 months.
Yeah, and working on a thing, trying to actually like think about where I'm standing and stuff. Like my act is always kind of fleeting. Here's what I feel like this week, whereas I was really like, so just going through all that, and then just having them not put it out for a year has been, very grateful for the opportunity. Hopefully it's good. But hopefully it's good. I'm afraid to ask to see it or anything because it'll be like 2 years. I'm like, no, just put it out. I just want to have the little fucking logo above my name.
This one will come out. This episode will come out, I believe, first week of March. So if it's coming out in March, sometime soon, as you're listening, it'll be out very soon. It'll be on Dry Bar.
Yeah.
Go listen to that.
And the Wallace Theater.
Please
come.
Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. Yeah. In Johnson City. I'll probably stop by and see Ryan because I'll probably be there. So come hang out, come see Ryan live, socials, anything you want to plug, podcast, anything at all.
No, man. Just want to say you're crushing
just love
it.
Ryan.
You know, just keep doing what you're.
I feel like you're doing this on purpose.
You're doing all the things, and you're starting early. Just your challenge is not to burn out.
Yeah.
Like if you took,
we'll see.
Treat yourself after that big show or whatever.
We'll see.
Because the region, we need you. We need the.
Oh God! Don't tell me that, dude. Don't put that on.
People that like cross pollinate and are nice and are like running shows in a podcast. I mean, that's what we need to. I feel like the New York style is great, and there's people good coming out, but there's a lot of possibility for us to like make our own new weird type of comedy down here.
It happens. So. I mean, in the music world, like Southern rock is a different thing. Southern hip hop is a different thing. Like we can do our own
just
thing.
like that.
Outkast is a little different than Wu-Tang. You
We're
can
building like the Chitlin circuit of the.
Yeah.
I shouldn't use that example. We're building like the.
I don't see the issue. Yeah. we're basically the Ric Flair of comedy. We're in the South and we might touch a waitress inappropriately one day. We're both Ric Flair. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you coming on. Make sure to follow him. Also, Home Planet, genuinely. I do want to say, I did it. That's a great episode, obviously. But I've listened to several.
It was great, yeah.
I've listened to several of your episodes, and it's not all comedians, which I also really like.
Yeah, I like that too.
So go check that out. Support that, even the ones that aren't me. Go listen. Thanks, buddy. Thank you for coming.
Right.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
My pleasure.